What's up, guys? It's been a busy couple weeks. We raced the 360 with USCS for 3 days, and then the very following weekend we ran our Top Gun car with the Top Gun Sprints, our limited car with the Top Gun Sprints. Are both 360s. We'll show you guys some differences in them later. Right now we are getting ready to do maintenance to both. We had a really short week because of Labor Day leading into the Top Gun race, and then being dad and husband and all the fun stuff and needing a break. That was really the biggest part. That 3-day show, we're not built like the Outlaws. We need a break when we get home from them shows. So, you know, had a couple lazy days in there. But here's the Top Gun car. We were leading that race until we weren't. If you haven't seen the video, check it out. Here's the 360 car. I'm hoping we can get this car running a little more to my likings. We're going to explain the differences in the cars in an upcoming video, but this is going to be us cleaning the fuel system. You seen that we had to change the motor in this car because I didn't take care of the car the way I needed it to for maintenance. So here we are getting ready for some maintenance. We're going to strip these bodies off, get these wings off. We got a little bit of wing repair that we need from our travels. And so first things first, let's get the bodies and wings stripped off so we can maintenance the motors. That's it for tonight. I got to get inside and tuck the babies in, shower up. Little man needs a shower tonight. So we got to take care of the kids. And but we got the bodies stripped off. I kind of pressure washed again. I just kind of didn't do much when I washed the cars. I just kind of sprayed it all out. So got it all right. We still got to pull the tires off of it and get ready for maintenance. But that'll be this weekend. We'll be prepping both cars for the next 2 races for them. This car is going to be at Rome, and I believe I got to switch this car to non-wing for East Bay. I think. And maybe going to Hendry County next. I have to look at the schedule. But I don't know, that's it. I'll tell you in the next clip. But that's it for tonight. Gonna call it a night, put the girls to bed, close the shop up. Alright, so we got the car all ready last night. As you see, we're in different clothing. It is another night. Went to work all day, blue collar racing, came home, held little man for a little bit, and then we had to go get the kids from the Boys and Girls Club. So dinner's inside being cooked, getting ready. So I'm gonna come out here and clean the injection on both cars real quick. So I'm gonna explain kind of what we're gonna do and show you some differences between the cars. So on this car, here's our injection lines that go into it. So we have an injector that goes into all 8 cylinders. It looks just like this on the other side. And basically, here's our throttle that opens the butterflies. They're closed right now. As the throttle opens, they turn straight up and down, let air in. There's a barrel valve on the inside right here. This is our main fuel line that runs through the center. Goes into that barrel valve that's right there. Goes into all of the injection lines, so it's all kind of timed together to let fuel in as we go. But to clean this, I got a 7/16 right here and a 5/8 right there. We will pull all these out, and then once I get the injection clean, I'll go in here to my fuel shutoff valve, which is underneath the steering wheel. So we'll pull the steering wheel off real quick. From here, I'll take this fitting off and blow all of the alcohol out of the barrel valve and fill it full of oil, and then put the oil in there. Then we'll walk over to the 360 and show you a difference in the injection. You'll see this injection is made for fine tuning. Basically, you can tune every single one. Instead of the other injection has one rail that runs down the entire center that has one control point for each side. You actually have a control point for every single one. So you can really fine tune this. But then as you look down to the center of the injection, you'll see this is our fuel line coming in. That is our barrel valve right there. And here is our injectors. And you'll see that the injectors are on the inside of this motor. So basically the intake and the valves are right down there, and that is shooting straight on top of the valve. So as soon as that valve starts to drop, it's got fuel shooting out of it. So they try to, I guess they tried to go like the other motor on making convenience, but after they did that for a while, they realized this actually created a little bit more power. This is a carbon fiber injection that is actually created. So the Belmont injection that Moss has the patent on, and then you'll see that they were made at Roush Yates Motors. So which is fitting because it's a Ford. And the reason you can tell it's a Ford, so on a Chevy, you have your cylinders back and the front, and these two center ones will be closer. Even with like a 360, they'll have a different type of bolt pattern, and these will be spread just a little bit, but you still have a pipe, and the two here. Where a Ford has equal spacing on the headers, just like a Toyota. Actually, the Toyotas are now making motors. And an easy way you can tell a difference between our Top Gun motor, this is a steel-headed flat top motor, and you'll see there's not a lot of stuff up here. This is a wet sump motor, which works just like a street vehicle and pulls it, you know, through the oil filter and all that stuff, pumps it back through it, where this has a dry sump system on the front of it. This is our oil pump right down in here, and the mess of all these lines, and it doesn't allow the crank to sit in oil. It sucks all the oil out of the motor, which takes the crank out of the oil and helps it spin easier and actually creates more horsepower because there's less friction in the bottom of the motor. I'm probably not explaining that the best. I am not a motor guy. I'm an electrician, and I barely get by there. But that's the best that I can kind of explain that. And if you want to know the basic differences between a 360 and a 410, the biggest eye test that you'll see from a 410 to a 360, you'll see this 360's got 8 injectors here, right? A 410 has 16. You'll see lines coming over here, and they actually have an injector that goes into every port of the head. So every cylinder on a 410 sprint car motor has 2 injectors, not 1. So the injectors are out. You see the ports that are down there, and I actually got them out of the 360 too. And you'll notice a huge difference. There's an injector that comes out of the 360. So with the amount of room that you have down here, the injector comes right through here. So you only have so much room until you hit this other side. So for the short nozzles, for an outside entry point like this, it is to like fog the fuel in there, to where this long one, when it comes from the other side, you can shoot it straight down right on top of the valve and get it really close to where the valve is. You know, this will kind of show you a little bit from out here, get you down by where the valve is, so that as soon as it opens, that fuel is shooting in there like a rocket. So here they all are, and basically what we're trying to do is alcohol will crud up, and you'll see that this one looks pretty good. But if you watch our last video, you seen me clean the injectors. Well, you heard that we swapped the motor because I didn't clean the fuel system good, and then we cleaned the injectors at the track, and they were pretty crudded up. And if you see this one, you'll see just like a little speck stuff in there. Alcohol will crystallize, and we want to make sure that they're not plugged up. So we're going to clean them with brake cleaner, and then we're going to spray them with some Marvel Mystery Oil. This is our oil of choice. If I don't have that at my disposal, I would just use a WD-40 or some type of lubricant like that. But when it's sitting out here in the shop for a while, Marvel Mystery Oil is the way I like to go. Well, the fuel system is done on the car like I talked about. Got everything back in place, everything lubed up. And then we took this line off of both cars, filled it full of oil, blew air through it, and then at that point you open up the throttle, which controls the barrel valve, which controls the fuel that goes through. And for a little quick run through for how the fuel system works on sprint cars, for those who may not know. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them, and we'll try our best to answer them or put them in a future video if you have any questions about the car. So obviously this is our fuel tank. This is a vented cap, so that when you're pulling fuel out of it, it doesn't collapse on itself. The main fuel line comes from here, and it runs to the fuel pump. So this right here is the main feed, and this here is our 3 lines that go out. One line goes to our valve here that turns the fuel on and off. The other 2 valves go to 2 of those 3 lines, and that's how we control fuel. It is pouring here at the house. So here are the 3 lines. This top line is our low speed bypass, which comes from the bottom side of the barrel valve right here. So our feed is coming into the top right there. This is our bypass. So at idle, it'll bypass fuel. This is our main bypass. So this is set to a certain pressure, and it allows fuel to go through after about 35 pounds, I believe. It is pouring once again in a metal building, so it's hard to hear or think. Well, we're back from the commercial break. We kind of had to work on other things in the shop because the rain's been here for like an hour. Just hit us, see? And then it just grew right on top of us. And it's hard to hear in here. But this is our high speed. And these are set by different pressures because everything's mechanical and runs off of the back of the motor. The higher RPMs the motor is, the fuel pump ties into this spud right here. So the higher RPMs the motor's spinning, the more fuel is pumping through the motor. So the way we tune these motors is by how much fuel we bypass to send back to the tank. Because you will see that this line on the tank connects to that block. So if we want to lean the motor out, we put a bigger pill in here on the high speed. If we want to lean it out on the high speed, we put a bigger pill here to allow more fuel to go back. And if we want to lean out the entire car, we put a bigger pill in here. And then if we're at a big track, this has got like a spring in it, so we can basically add more spring pressure to the diaphragm that's sitting right here to make it harder to pop this off so that it holds fuel in the motor longer before it releases it. So if we're on a really fast half mile, you know, we'll put a couple more PSI into this to help keep fuel in the motor on high RPMs. So that's our quick little breakdown of the fuel system as we cleaned it. If you guys got any more questions, ask away, and like and follow the video. Like and follow the channel. Follow us on Facebook to keep up with what's going on in the races, and you can go on my Shopify and you can buy some merchandise for us as well. And you can come see us at a track if we end up being somewhere near you in the southeast.